Hello, everyone. This is Lada from Astrolada.com. And today I'm here with Richelle. It's a beautiful new astrologer that I recently met. Oops.
Oh,
Sorry, there might be some sound problem. And I want to introduce Richelle, and she'll make a presentation to us about a very interesting topic. We're going to talk about children, astrology, family karma. So thank you for joining us. And hi, Richelle.
hello. Thank you for having me. I should call you Lada, not Astrolada.
Yeah. Lada
Good
is
to be
fine.
here.
Thank you so much for being here. Can you tell us a few words, introduce yourself? Where did you start learning astrology? What kind of astrology do you use so people know and are aware about your techniques and what school of astrology you come from and what experience you come from?
Absolutely. Astrology came into my life when I was about 12, 13 years old. So a very crucial time in anyone's life, of course. It helped me definitely with realizing who I was and just understanding myself a lot better. Throughout the years, it honestly started then. I started at 12, 13. I started to first learn about myself, and then later on, I realized that there's more than just the sun sign. So that really piqued my interest even more. And yeah, so I think more so the past 5, 6 years, I've been really committed to astrology more so. But throughout the years, I've been learning on and off. So yeah,
Wow.
mostly self-taught, but I've been following you actually for quite a while, learning from you, so I'm very appreciative of that. And yeah, just a couple different astrologers here and there, and yeah.
And you also told me that you're studying Vedic astrology currently.
Yes, yeah, I'm trying to get into that and just kind of try and incorporate both methods. I feel both are pretty important and both resonate. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I once astrology finds you, it never leaves you. And I also am a lot of self-taught, just studying with different teachers here and there online, and you don't have to be somewhere in India or in an ashram to learn astrology.
Right.
Basically, yeah. And if it's your calling, because you made a horoscope for me, and I was quite impressed. How psychologically and predictively accurate it was. So I really am excited about this interview today. Thank you for being here. And by the way, Richelle is working with Astrolada, and her services are very affordable, and she's doing a promotion till Mother's Day. 30 minutes with Richelle is $40, as far as I remember.
Yeah.
And Richelle is doing also a promotion on her childhood horoscope, so you can order a horoscope for you and your child and to know what the chemistry between you is. And she's doing it only for $80, plus she's giving an answer to free question on top of that, on any topic, I suppose. Answer to free question.
Yeah, anything related to the child, anyways. That's
Okay. And so thank you so much. You can basically, we're talking about children because this is a special for Mother's Day, which is coming soon. And we want to talk about children. We're going to talk about astrology of children and family and relationships. So you have the word. I'm just not going to interrupt you. I might just ask questions from time to time.
Yeah, for sure. And feel free to put any input that I don't, touch on if you think of something. I'm going to start with the signs as children. And this applies to both the sun and the moon. And I'll try and go into a little bit of depth on how it may be different for the sun and the moon. So for an Aries child, Aries are the first in the horse or in the zodiac. They are the go-getters. They have so much drive. They can be impulsive. Also, Aries children, they can really be daredevils. Like, they're not afraid to hurt themselves. Um, my brother actually is an Aries, and and I'm a Pisces, so I'm very much more reserved. Like, no, I don't really want to go to and stuff. But
Yeah.
him, he's so different that way. He just, yeah, he and I think with Aries children especially, they really learn they learn through hurting their bodies, as crazy as that may sound.
Believe me, I'm not a child. I'm Aries, and I still have to break my head before I learn a lesson. I think Aries learns the most, finds it hardest to learn lessons. They're like, they go burn themselves, and because Aries is very physical, isn't it? Aries rules the
Yeah.
physical body, so they learn through. They really have to suffer physically to learn a lesson. You very well observed. And
Yeah.
maybe I must say something, that usually the moon is much more visible in the first 7 years of a child's life. And
Right.
the sun starts showing, the sun is always there as well, but the sun
Yeah.
starts becoming more and more prominent with age. I just wanted to add that as an observation, something that I learned with clients and with my teachers.
Absolutely.
So, so people can make the difference, that the moon is much more visible because the moon is your emotional environment early on in age. It's the mother, it's the primary caretaking parent. It might be the father. The moon might be the father, if the father is the one who takes care of the child, and often the child takes on psychologically that character of the moon and displays it much more strongly the first 7 years, and then they start growing more into the sun sign. But sometimes children that are born during the day, the sun sign can be stronger, so they can display it more powerfully from the beginning as well. Anyway, sorry for the interruption.
No,
Go
no
ahead.
problem. I'm glad you mentioned that. What else do I got here? I have some notes because I'm, of course, new at this. So aggression, they can be aggressive, especially when they're trying to show affection. Weird enough, they can be very aggressive and, kind of push each other around, or, that kind of stuff. I'm sure you know.
Oh my God! I express my love. We used to have chickens in my farm, in my village, and I would squeeze them up to death till they die.
Oh,
That's how I showed my love. And my grandparents would go and hide the chickens. Lada's
oh,
coming, very like bear love.
oh my
It's true.
goodness, that's
That's
funny.
very amazing observation, Richelle. Really, really
Yeah,
well observed. Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I actually, my ex, I used to watch his children. He had two little boys, and I've been in their life since they were about 1 and 2, I believe, and they both have Aries moon.
Yeah.
So it's when they're together, they can't help but fight. Like, and they'll probably always be like that because they just have so much competitiveness and just so much energy too. So they just kind of take it out on each other.
Yeah, and that's how we express emotions, feelings, and caring, by being physical and having to squeeze. And I used to love fighting with my friends, not like verbally, but like proper fight, like sumo wrestlers. And I'll take my friend and fight them in the grass, and I loved it. It made feel so invigorated and connected to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably they were not so excited, but great observation. Yeah, Aries is very physical.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. My brother was always beating me up, and oh, I just hated it. I,
He
I
was showing you love.
Yeah, well, he could show it in a different way. I'm a Libra moon, so I'm like, harmony, please. Let's just get along.
Oh, Pisces and Libra.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
play princess and dolls. And
yeah, yeah. I'm very much in my imagination lots, and yeah, I like stuff that's more low key, not so aggressive.
but great observation for Aries.
Also, any Aries, even if they're kids or grown up or whatever, they need to be careful with speeding. My brother, for example, he's always getting speeding tickets. You guys have heavy feet, or heavy foot, I guess. So with bikes, whether they're riding their bikes, honestly, watch them. They're gonna fall over so many times, and they're just gonna get up and keep going until they figure it out, I guess.
They don't learn, basically, even from bashing their heads.
Yeah, you guys learn the hard way.
Yeah, the hard knocks, through hard knocks, and even then they don't learn. If physical
Yeah,
pain was enough, I would
yeah,
be a PhD now. Even then, it's not enough for us. Something with Aries learning slow, not slow, as they learn very fast, mentally speaking, but
mhm,
if they make a mistake, at least that's what I've observed, they'll go and make it over and over and over again.
yeah, exactly. Also, Aries rules the head. So a lot of people with strong Aries, whether moon, sun, whatever, they will be prone to head injuries, headaches, even teeth problems. Because I'm pretty sure Aries rules the teeth as well.
Mhm.
So yeah, just be
The
careful with.
upper, the upper,
Pardon?
teeth, the upper teeth.
Oh,
But
okay, makes
yeah,
sense.
Taurus usually has more influence on the lower teeth, but still teeth are Aries, and yeah,
Oh,
certain. Yeah.
okay, super. Also, I find with people usually Aries sun, sometimes Aries moons, not as much, but I find that they have a broader forehead. Um,
Yep.
just notice.
Yeah,
Okay.
Aries rules the
Actually,
forehead. Yeah.
Aries isn't the only ones who have this broad forehead. I find every Scorpio will usually have it too, and I think it's because they both rule Mars. Or both, yeah, they both rule
Yeah.
Mars.
Yeah, both are ruled by Mars, which rules the upper part of the head, I guess.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so my baby is double Scorpio with Aries sun. He should be like an alien head for it. He is kind of.
Aw. So yeah, what else? They Aries people really need something to put their energy to. Usually sports is really good and therapeutic for Aries, especially Aries who have anger problems.
Mhm.
Um, Sports is a great outlet for that. Any kind of sports, really.
Yeah. So you'd advise parents that the parents of Aries children, sun or moon, go get them active or else they'll be Dennis the Menace at home.
Exactly. And I think that's where my parents went wrong with my brother. He didn't do enough sports.
Oh, absolutely. Aries is the most physical sign. Thank you for bringing this to attention. We sometimes forget. And actually, they can even express, like you said, love physically by touching, by hands on, by
Yeah.
fleshly experience, you know.
Yeah.
So wonderful observation.
Awesome. I'm just gonna make sure I got everything in my notes here for Aries. Um, yeah,
Sure,
look.
take your time. I also have notes whenever I do
Oh, good.
webinars and presentations. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so I think I'm gonna move on to Taurus now. Taurus children. Usually they can be pretty quiet, I find. They're very grounded. They can be stubborn, of course, which is probably the most known Taurus trait, I
Yeah.
think. Um, they love music. If you have a Taurus child, they're gonna love to sing, and if they don't, introduce them to music and to singing because that is an amazing outlet for Taurus. They rule the throat, actually,
Yeah.
um, and they will also be prone to, throat infections or sore throats, that kind of thing. That's their most sensitive part of their body.
Mhm.
Um, yeah,
So
because
throw Aries in the fighting ring and put Taurus to listen to music.
yeah, exactly. Even art, they can be really artistic as well. Um, a lot of Taurus are homebodies. They don't like to leave home too much unless they have to.
Mhm.
um, Also, Taurus children, they love, well, children or adults, they love to eat. They
Ah. Love for them passes through the stomach, as they say.
yeah,
Show them if they probably feel disgruntled or upset, a home cooked dish would be something that, or
that,
just some food that comforts them.
that is great advice. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've
Um,
also seen Taurus children. They're very tactile. Taurus moon children or Taurus sun. There is a someone even wrote yesterday. My daughter is a Taurus moon, and she's so tactile. If she sees a nice cushion, she'll go and cuddle up to it and she'll caress it. You know, as well. More sensual. They love probably the five senses stimulated, which is what Taurus
right.
is.
Yeah. Um, Also, Taurus children do not, um, they don't cope with change too well. So if you're gonna throw a sudden curveball at them, try to do it gently, or ease them into it slowly. They're gonna be very very difficult when it comes to sudden changes. They get. I know that my moon is in the second house, and I always found when I was little, if things suddenly changed or my plans changed, like even just being little, I would be like, oh, like so emotional about it. And I think,
Yeah,
yeah,
emotionally distraught for certain.
right.
Yeah. So that's these children, they need their routines basically, and they need the predictability of a safe environment and home, and yeah. And
Right.
usually if they have Taurus moon, it means they'll get it, at least in the early part of their childhood.
Okay. Also, they are prone to putting on weight, I find. The the Taurus can be, I find it's a lot like Cancer in the fact that when Taurus in the moon, I feel it's actually comfortable there. And what was I gonna say with that? Oh shoot. They can be very motherly, very nurturing.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, because the moon is exalted there, and the moon is motherhood. So when the moon, the planet of motherhood, is exalted in this sign, it shows that it's very caring and nurturing sign.
Mm,
Obviously, yeah. And
yeah.
I can also add some advice, because having friends with Taurus babies, Taurus moon or sun babies, they said that what really works well for them is to give them a garden to grow, to nurture something, to take care of something as well. And that really grounds them. And usually vegetables or garden patch or something, it's something that can be great for them as well,
Yeah,
to
for
center
sure.
their energies.
Yeah. Um, Also, they really like the outdoors. They're an earth sign themselves, so them being in the outdoors in nature is really good and very what's the word? Very nurturing, not nurturing.
Grounding, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
absolutely.
their healing, for their emotions, and grounding. Yeah.
Yes.
They're gnomes, they're gnomes in human form.
Right. Yeah. Um Oh, and one more thing. Also, Taurus people or children, especially, will be attached sentimentally to objects, toys, sentimental things from their childhood, just
So they
objects.
don't want to share.
They don't want to share if something's missing. It's a big deal. That kind of thing. It's
Ah, makes sense for sure. Possessiveness, the possessiveness of Taurus.
yeah.
You probably have to teach them from young to share more.
Oh, big time. Yeah. Um,
So don't go messing with their possessions, basically, and
right.
distressing them like that.
Also, I find Taurus sun people or children, they can they're kind of like Aries in the fact where they need that sports, but they like more not such aggressive sports. They like more,
Mhm.
um, yeah. They really like hiking and camping also, especially.
Nature, basically.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
my husband is moon in Taurus, and
Oh,
he's great into hiking and
yeah.
and camping and all those things. And I want to fight him around the fireplace with my Aries energy. But
That, that's so
no, yeah, it's very soothing actually having Taurus, and um, it's true. Yeah, what you say, I've observed not only in children but in grown-ups.
cool. So yeah, I think that's. Oh, also, some Taurus can be really messy, like especially children. But even growing up into being an adult, they can be fairly messy.
Oh, I wonder why this is.
I think it's I don't want to call them lazy because they aren't
Ah, yes, they are lazy. Taurus is a lazy sign.
okay, we're lazy. Or they can be.
Yeah.
Yes, they may be messy. Oh, and also they process things very slowly. It's not that they're stupid or anything. They just process on a slower level. They get there eventually and they figured it out, but it just takes a little bit extra time. I find this with me too. Emotionally, it takes me a while to process things.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's great for parents to know, so they don't force their children to take decisions fast, or to leave
Right.
them the time to practically first, to maybe soak up in it.
Yeah, yeah. So be patient with Taurus children for that, for sure. Also, okay, I'm gonna go on to Gemini. Gemini, they are air and they're mutable, so they're always changing, always thinking. Especially, they have so much mental energy, and it's just constantly going, going, going. I believe Magic Mike is a Gemini, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he's great talker.
He's a great example. Yeah, I love
they,
it. Yeah.
they can talk you out. People just tune into just sometimes to listen to his voice and to his banter, and he's witty at that, and he's a bit like whenever I watch him, we discuss with my husband he should be reading stories. He's like an actor. So
Yeah.
he enlivens each character so well.
Very much so, yeah. I don't remember what Gemini rules. I'm pretty sure, always to me, it's always seemed Gemini was like the arms and hands. Is that correct, or is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The
So
thing you
yeah,
move the most. That's Gemini.
they're always talking with their hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I know my mom is a Gemini, and she's always had issues with her wrists. She has carpal tunnel syndrome, I believe.
Mm.
So watch them with that. Definitely, maybe get them to do some wrist exercises and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Also the lungs sometimes, because Gemini rules breathing, the breathing process, so they should also watch. Gemini, they can be more susceptible to allergies as well. Gemini is one of those signs, together with Virgo, that they have to be more susceptible to allergies. And Gemini, particularly for breathing and the upper part of the breathing apparatus or whatever organs.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for mentioning that as well. Also, like I said, Geminis talk fast, and they never stop talking from the moment they wake up till the moment they go to bed. My daughter has Gemini rising, and oh my goodness, she's been like this since since she could talk, since she could make noise. She loves to talk, and even if no one's listening to her, she's still talking.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, even when she's going to the bathroom, she'll sing or be talking away. It's just like,
I
oh,
think those children are a lot of fun, Gemini children.
oh yeah.
They can
And
probably crack up some jokes and
I was gonna
say,
say, yeah, they're jokesters for sure. They're so funny. They have good sense of humor. Um,
wonderful.
Something I'd like to mention also. I find, from experience, my family, every single person in my family, my mom, my dad, my brother, and I, we all have air moons. And I found whenever there was, anyone was emotional or we were fighting or whatever, I found the biggest thing that helped us was being humorous. That helped us kind of get through it.
Uh-huh.
So I
Oh,
think that's pretty big for any person or child, especially with their moon in either Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra.
to make a joke, not to make it so deep and so serious, and
Yes.
to bring them out, say they hit themselves, so they start crying. Make a joke about it.
Yeah,
Distract them with something.
exactly.
Yeah, especially Gemini, you can distract them quickly because their interest is like a butterfly. It can move like from flower to flower to flower. So,
Yes.
but they're probably very much hands-on children. You have to be constantly running around them because they're so curious. They'll be putting in their mouth everything and opening all kind of, just out of curiosity to learn, to absorb, because that's the mind. Just the mind
Mhm.
skips everywhere.
Yeah, and they always have Gemini children always, or Gemini influenced people always have questions about everything. They're so curious. But yes, you're so correct. You can distract them like that, like so easily.
That's funny. Question marks everywhere. Why
Yeah.
is that so? And why is that so? To every answer, they have a why.
Yeah, my daughter asked me the other day, she's like, "Why is water wet?" Good question. I really don't know.
Oh wow, that'd be a fun child to have. Actually, I have all my planets in third house, so I love questions.
Awesome. Yeah, she's Aaliyah, my daughter, she's 6 years old. She's a Pisces sun.
Mhm.
and Gemini rising. So I have to constantly redirect her. Okay, focus. Okay, focus. 2 seconds later, okay, focus. Like,
Yeah, teach them young to focus, because possibly that's one of the biggest weaknesses of Gemini sun or moon people. It's their distractibility, and if they learn from little to, you know, not to disperse their energies to too many directions. Maybe that's one of their calling, to kind of multitask and everything, but they have to learn to consistency. That's one of the things that's a little bit problematic there, unless they have some, you know, maybe Taurus sun or something fixed to help them focus more.
yeah.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. Oh, I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, Aaliyah, you have to really. Okay, girl, time to focus. And she tries to multitask. She's not good at it. She should not try it. Not till she's older, at least, because she just can't do it.
I'm sure she'll develop it better and better. The
Oh yeah,
multitasking.
oh yeah. She's got Capricorn Moon, so I think that's really good. She's got the grounding energy.
Oh yeah.
And, but yeah, what else about Gemini? Yeah, they try to multitask. They can be something I'd like to mention about Gemini, actually, that you don't normally, I think, see or not see, but it's not recognized, is Gemini. I find they are prone to depression, even though they're not a water sign. Their mind kind of, it's on overdrive constantly, and they think too much, and that can sometimes make them depressed. Also
Mm.
other aspects as well, of course, but they are also prone to being ADD, if you know,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
which
That's
is
an
nothing.
interesting observation, actually. Yeah. It,
Yeah.
it's that mental energy that can send them into mental states.
Hmm.
So I guess they need something to, they also benefit a lot from contact with nature to ground them a little bit more. And fresh air, because Gemini
Yeah.
rules air. They need a lot of open spaces and fresh air to kind of ventilate those lungs and cool. You know what settles the brain is fresh air, and, you know, kind of all those. And healthy, I've noticed Gemini children, or people with Gemini, lots of interest. They can be going to dancing, to music lessons, to piano lessons, to lots of activities that are diverse, not only physical, like for Aries, but
Yeah.
lots of activities, maybe mathematic course, whatever, just different extracurricular activities to keep them. Uh, Otherwise, they can put this mind to silly stuff, you know, if you don't direct that energy from little. So get them involved in lots of, just make them try out lots of different activities, lots of different courses, you know, whatever it's called. I'm not even aware, is it extracurricular activities or, you know,
Hobby. Yeah.
hobbies, exactly.
Yeah. Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that, actually. They they need lots of interest, absolutely, because they get so bored so quickly, and they need change constantly. They need to move from, like, they like to, okay, I'm into this, oh, okay, I'm kind of bored of that, next, they need that constant change for sure, especially with hobby.
Absolutely. And that's their beauty as well, because obviously these skills they'll need later in life, that but, you know, it might be a bit difficult for a parent, especially more down to earth parent, to deal with them initially, but later in life this can be their strong boon, that they're constantly looking for new things and new diversity and excitement. But yeah, some grounding will definitely help.
Yeah. Um,
People are saying this is so interesting, the streaming. Oh, they're loving it.
good.
I'm keeping an eye on the chat, and people are having amazing discussions here.
Awesome.
Sorry if we can't answer everyone. We just try to cover as much in the shortest possible time.
Right. Um, so yeah, they can be prone to mental diseases, that sort of thing. They're not so much a feeling sign. They'd much rather tell you what they're thinking
Mhm,
than how they're feeling.
mhm, mhm.
Depends.
You
Um,
can reason with them, at least. That's something. You can explain them, you know, why I'm punishing you, because this and this and this. And they won't be like brooding at you like a Scorpio and
yeah,
plotting their revenge. They'll be like, okay, okay, that's reasonable enough for me, you know,
yeah,
as an
yeah.
answer.
And all right. Oh yes, and they can sometimes, I think we've mentioned this, they have fidgety hands. They like to always be doing something, or have something in their hands, that kind of thing too.
Oh yeah. Teach them to knit. Teach them to, or else they'll start those cigarettes. It's funny. Usually the signs that whatever is the weakest organ in your body, usually if you have sun or moon, usually it's already, the lungs are in Gemini, are already something that is more vulnerable because you have a planet in that sign. So if there is difficult transits to that planet, you can get some kind of effect on that body. But usually people are drawn exactly to the things that will hurt them the most. Like Gemini is often, I've seen, because of their nervous energy, they would often be drawn to smoking, which is the lungs are the one of the things, and also this nervous energy with the hands possibly holding something. But anyway, I don't want to take it.
Yeah. No, that's okay. So yeah, now I think I'll go into Cancer. Cancer, they are the sweetest, most compassionate children.
Oh.
Like next to Pisces, but I think they're Cancer's the most nurturing for sure, the most motherly. Cancer children are usually very sympathetic, especially to other children. What else do we got? They can be prone to depression, for sure. So definitely watch that.
Because they probably internalize a lot, don't they? They internalize a lot of feelings, and they, like the hard shell of the crab bottles it in. They're so sensitive to the environment as well.
Yeah, they take on other people's feelings a lot of the time too. So they'll be very sensitive when you take them out into groups of people, that kind of thing. They'll definitely be very sensitive to their surroundings. They'll like Taurus. They like to be at home. At home is where they recharge.
My little brother, who is 18 now, is Cancer Moon. He sleeps in the same bedroom as my parents still at 18. He's turning 19 soon, and he doesn't want to move out of there. He's supposed to be a student, and he's like, he's not going to take it well. He says, I'm coming back, because we live in the small provincial town in Bulgaria. And he says, like, he'll be coming back from the capital every single weekend to be with my parents. Very Cancerian, kind of Cancer Moon, but still very attached to the family. And
yes, Cancer Sun, Cancer Moon, very much so, very close to family. Family is very important to them, for sure. Cancer, they need their security. So if they feel like things are not secure in their life, they're like, turmoil, and stuff. So they really need to feel secure, especially at home. If they don't have a secure home life, then that can be really, really difficult on them.
So while other children say a Gemini child won't be so affected if everything is in the air at home, a Cancer child will be strongly affected. So guys, create a harmonious environment at home. That's, for a little Cancer Moon or Cancer Sun child, it's very important.
Right, yeah.
And they're very healing. I forgot to say something. They kind of, I remember my little brother, my dad was going through some things, and he would always want to hold the baby close to him, and he would feel like he's healing me. And one day when my brother was 2 years old, he said, stop doing that. You're taking my energy. Because my brother was, and he woke up in the middle of a dream and said that. And he said, leave the children alone. You're taking their energy. And he fell asleep again, almost like someone spoke to him. And since then, my dad said, I'm no longer going to use him, because he'll take literally his body and hold him close. And his negative energy would get soaked up by the Cancer child. And they have this really healing energy. Others might really want to be around them. But until they learn how to protect themselves, this can be kind of detrimental for them in a sense, and later on in life, they can be amazing healers, Cancer Moon, Cancer Sun people. But as children, so sensitive indeed,
For sure, yeah. Also, again, like Taurus, Cancer children love to eat, love to indulge in that kind of stuff. And they love to cook. They love to help cooking. Same with Taurus. They love to help cooking as well.
They have to be careful with their food, though, because their stomach is very sensitive. Actually, if they're upset or something, they can be very colicky babies, or they can be, Cancer can be, even as adults, it will first hit them in the stomach somehow. or the breast area as well,
Right.
because this is what it rules.
Right. Yeah, I think that's all oh, and they can be very intuitive as well. They pick up on not only other people's energies, but they pick up psychic premonitions and stuff like that. They usually if a Cancer can follow its gut and trust its gut, it's usually pretty right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Yeah,
one thing.
yeah, they should trust it. The gut is the mind of the Cancer people, actually.
Oh,
It's the
okay.
gut is considered the second mind, but for Cancers, I would say it's their first mind.
Yeah,
They should
yeah.
trust it. I People are asking like, Cancer is moody? Are Cancers moody? Are
Oh yeah.
Cancer's children moody?
Oh yeah, they are definitely moody for sure. They can go from being the happiest little kid you ever saw till being like the most unhappy, picked off little person ever. So
What can you do to help? What advice would you give to parents with Cancer babies, the Sun and Moon? When they children, what would you do with them?
you're breaking up, Lada. Sorry, I
Can
couldn't
you
hear
hear
you.
me? I said
Now I
like,
can.
what advice would you give to parents with Cancer children to do when their children get moody?
Nurture them. Nurture them. Show them lots of love. Let them know that you are trying to understand how they feel. Um, try to have them express how they feel. This will help a lot for sure for them. Just even expressing it and getting it out, I think. And
Wonderful.
feeling it. Let them like don't tell them don't cry. Let them cry. Let them cry it out and get it out of their system. It's healing for
So they
anybody.
have to feel the emotions. They're here to feel emotions and express emotions. Don't suppress the emotions. Don't
Right.
tell them be a man or man up, or little boys don't cry or whatever. Just allow it to sit with its feeling,
Yeah.
and show them you're there for them quietly. Don't try to reason out with them the emotions and promise them things. They just want to feel that you're there for them and that you're compassionate and understanding,
And
rather than trying to give them solutions, maybe do this or that. And
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that's
Yeah.
pretty much it for that one.
Leo.
So Leo, they are a fixed sign. So like Taurus, they don't really like change very much. They might have a temper if you try to get them to change certain things. Or if you try to get them, yeah, they're just not so great with change. They are a fire sign, so they are very passionate, very, very passionate children. I find pretty much every Leo child that I've met. My his oldest son is a Leo, and he's got a bunch of little siblings, including my daughter, and he is such a good big brother. They are so good with other children, and it's so good for them to care for other children as well and to help them out. Leo rules children actually, and Leo
Mhm.
rules having fun, so they will definitely be the life of the party. Leo children, they are for
That's
sure the
what
life.
children love, someone to entertain them. Exactly.
Yeah, they're exactly, and they're so entertaining. Absolutely. Um, Leo rules the heart. So Leo children, but especially Leo adults, need to watch their hearts when it comes to heart attacks and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
Um, not to scare anybody, but it's a very sensitive part of Leo. It's what they rule. Um,
Yeah, for certain. Yeah. And this
yeah,
also the backbone, they might have some problems with the back posture wise. They have to make sure they have a good, like walk like a king. That's a must for Leos. They should walk like a king straight, because uh actually slumping down and some can affect their backbone, which is a sensitive area. And of course, the backbone rules also the immune system. But they usually are pretty healthy, especially Sun in Leo. They usually would live a very long life and suddenly drop dead out of exhaustion, because they can live large and
yeah,
to the max, so to speak. And they're given a lot of vitality, even with the Leo moon, but more so with Leo Sun. You're given the vitality of the sun. And I would say that when they're lacking vitality, they should go out on the sun. The sun is their battery. And
absolutely.
yeah, they can even channel information, and through the sun, I would say they can soak up information through the sun. So that's
Yeah.
something for them. And if you have a Leo sun or Leo moon child, they have to be out and play in the sun. They have to be, to take them on a warm holiday somewhere as well, because that's the element, you know.
Right. Yeah. Also, Leos love to be in the spotlight. They honestly, they can't help but be in the spotlight. Even if they're not trying to be, they're in the spotlight. People automatically notice Leos right away.
Mhm.
Um, Especially Leo risings, but Leo
Mhm.
sun. Um, Also, I've noticed with Leos, they tend to have lots of hair, like a lion. They have a very big mane, and
Mhm.
this can be another thing.
Oh yeah, my little brother Sandon is Leo, and he's like Elvis Presley. And he
Oh
said,
my
I
goodness!
brought back to school the Elvis Presley hairstyle. And it's, yeah, he's the leader of in school. And
Oh
even without trying, those people become leaders at school somehow. And if they're
yeah,
not, something is being suppressed in their nature, and that might not be a healthy environment for them.
right.
They in school, where they have Leo moon, you either should be center of attention or somehow like a leader of the pack. And if you're not, they're not expressing their Leo qualities, so they might be suffering a bit there, you know. uh,
Exactly.
yeah, they
That's
naturally attract authority to them and respect from others, because Leo is the king, so anyway,
right.
so
Um, Also, I've noticed. I knew someone who had their Saturn in Leo, really close to their rising sign in Leo, and this goes for any even Sun, Moon, Leo. I find. Sorry, I'll finish my story. His father took his toys away when he was really young, and so I think playing is really, really important for Leos, especially having fun and that sort of thing, being creative as well,
mhm,
because they rule creativity, whether that's art or drama,
mhm.
that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. To express their inner light, the amusement. But it's very good story that you said, because Saturn in Leo can deprive you from the joy of life.
Yeah,
And people, maybe they'll tell some stories that from young they were taken this ability to somehow to express their childlike divinity, and they were reprimanded, or they were told to, you know, get serious or something. Yeah.
people to grow up or stuff like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
So definitely, for sure, make sure they, yeah, if they're not having fun and they're not being that bright sunny light that they have the potential to be, definitely look into that and show them lots of love too, of course, because Leos, they
Exactly.
represent love, so they're very loving themselves, but I think they need that love as well back, like anybody else, but
Yeah.
especially.
And give
um
them compliments. That's for Leo, is reaffirm their divinity and their creativity.
right.
Reaffirm it. That's what they, especially Leo moon. I'm a Leo moon, super sensitive to criticism.
Oh,
So if I very affectionate out as a child, I would be the entertainer of the whole neighborhood. So I
mhm,
would do carnivals in the summer to entertain the younger children. Exactly what you said. The
yeah,
other children love them, so I would create carnivals, organize everyone, and we'll do them for free for the other children. But if someone says something, or don't congratulate you or pet you or say great job, they can feel disheartened. You have to give them compliments, because they're,
yes.
especially Leo moon, they might sound confident, but they're not. They're very sensitive about their confidence.
Very true. Very good point made. Also, make sure your comments and your complimenting them is genuine because they can sense it if it's not.
Ah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, bullshit. My bullshit. uh, barometer is very high. Still
Yeah,
enjoy it though. I'll still say thank you. When
yeah.
someone says you have beautiful blonde hair, I'll be like, thank you. Anyway, yeah. Next
Uh,
one is Virgo. Ah,
right. Yes, Virgo. So with Virgo, they are, or sorry, they're Earth and they're mutable. So they're a lot like Gemini in the sense that they have a lot of mental energy, and this is surprising for an Earth sign. But because they're ruled by Mercury, like Gemini, um, they're very critical thinking, very practical. They can be, oh, and one of their biggest moon, sun, whatever, Virgo, they need to feel like they are of service to others. They need to feel helpful. And if they don't, this can really, really make them not feel very great, because that's part of their life purpose, is to help others and serve others in whichever way that is.
So you give advice to parents of Virgo children, moon or sun or even ascendant, find them something useful so they can feel useful and that they have help. And this will make them anchor their purpose in life. And this will make them feel like they natural in their own waters. Find them that maybe help with the dishes and chores and stuff like that, because Virgo is the servant. And I'm not saying make your child a servant, but find him something useful to be doing. Absolutely. That's the best advice I can give for any Virgo parent. Very well spotted. Even my little brother, now I keep giving him an advice. His son is in Virgo, and now he's going to study university. And I said, I'm going to pay for your, for living there and everything. And he, because I'm the older sister, I'll take care of you. And he said, I need to work. Can you give me work? And I'll do this work for the money you give me. I don't want to just do it for nothing. That was like, wow, that's so Virgo. They want to know that they're useful in some way. So
absolutely. And if they don't feel useful, it's not good. They can be very critical. That's another thing. Virgos, they seem to be critical to everybody else, or critical about everybody else, but they are the most critical when it comes to themselves. So definitely something to notice and pay attention to with Virgo children. Make sure you instill that into them, that try not to be critical on yourself. You do your best. That's all that, yeah. So,
and often a Virgo child will have one very critical parent, where the sun or moon in Virgo, usually one of the parents would be critical, and that's how they become like that, and that's how they become very self-critical, like you said. Yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay. Yes. Also, Virgos observe through, they observe everything, but they especially observe body language. And they can really pick people apart this way. They kind of look at you and they kind of, oh yeah, I see through you. Whether they're a child or not, it's so interesting.
Such a great observation. Again, my little brother, he was 6 years old, and some guests came over, a guy that was older, 67, and a girl that was 40 years old, a woman. He looked at them and he said, they're lovers. And we looked at him and we're like, these are our guests. How can you say such a thing? He said, can't you see? And they never said anything, they were working together. But later on, we found out they were lovers. And we said, how did you know? He said, it was their body language. And I said, what do you know about body language? You're 6. He said, I don't know. I just saw it. That's very Virgo. Stunning observation. Yeah, that they're extremely perceptive.
Yes, absolutely. They can see through the details. That's for sure. I believe Virgo represents the circulation and digestive system.
The digestive system. I don't know the circulation. I know Aquarius, the circulation, but it definitely the digestive system.
Okay. Yeah. So eating healthy will be very, very beneficial for Virgos. Their digestive system is very sensitive. If they're eating food that's not good, they will know it. Like their stomach and their intestines, it's gonna let them know. So it's really good for them to stay healthy, be in whether that's also gardening is really good for them. Detoxing when they get older, like juicing, that kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely, because Virgo is the sign that can most easily pollute, because it rules the intestines, as you said, and the intestines is where 75% of all diseases originate. And if they don't eat organic or healthy or do cleanses and fastings, the stomach, not stomach, but intestines are the first that, usually that's why they have allergies and stuff, and they're allergic to many things. And often diseases that they don't even, doctors can figure out what they are, because nowadays, we, especially when it comes from the intestine, many things we don't know about yet. But yeah, that's the most important thing for them, together with make them feel useful and give them something to lay their hands on, practically feed them, teach them good health habits.
Right. Also, I've noticed with Virgos, there's two kinds of Virgos. Well, there's two kinds of all kinds of signs, but with Virgos, they're either extremely neat and organized, or they're so messy and
What
sloppy.
is that? It's true, but it's
Yeah,
like their crazy messiness has its own logic. They still know where everything is in that messiness, but only they know it. They
yeah,
only
yeah,
see that order.
yeah. Yeah, if I think that's a huge lesson for Virgos is learning to get organized. If they're not already, then oops, then it's a a process. They'll get to it. But it'll help them think so much clearer if they are organized. I have a Virgo rising, and I also have a Pisces sun, so and they're opposite. So it's like I'm constantly like, I know that if I organize, I can think so much better, but then I get lazy and, I drift off in my own world. So it's definitely a lesson.
Yeah, actually, when they distraught, if they start ordering around, like the order outside will put order within them emotionally. That's with every sign this is true, but with Virgo in particular, it's vital for them. What would you give as an advice as a parent to Virgo children? How do you show them love? Because they're not so demonstrative with their feelings as Virgo children, and they probably such gestures of kissing them, and like the way I would show love and squeezing them, and they would be horrified by that. How do you show them that you love them if you have a Virgo child?
By being there and helping them as well, having other people help them kind of, well, yes and no. Virgos like to work alone sometimes, but I think the best advice would be do something productive with them. Um,
Uh-huh.
Gardening is super good, that sort of thing. Even learning something with them would be good
Uh-huh.
too.
Okay, so something practical and productive rather than telling them I love you so much.
Yeah, they're more act like a they're more the type to actions speak louder than words, if that makes sense. Like,
Yes. So
yeah,
maybe tag them, make them a meal, do some, show them something. Yeah, fix their bike, and they'll feel loved and they'll feel
yeah.
appreciated.
Also, Virgos can be really shy. They so watch with that with children. Don't push them. If they are shy, let them ease into it on their own. With Virgos and Pisces, they observe their surroundings first, and then they feel more comfortable. So they really have to analyze everything
Uh-huh.
first before coming out of that shy stage.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they're very helpful kids. Lots of mental energy. Also, their health can take a toll if they're um, either not eating right or emotionally distressed. Sometimes I find Virgos
Mm-hmm.
their health definitely takes a toll.
Mm-hmm. The nervous system as well, it's affected strongly, so that immediately, if the in toxic environment as well, that would get a strong health hit out of it. For example, someone with a strong constitution, big deal, someone smoking around you or whatever, or there is competitiveness around you in the office or whatever, but Virgos are very sensitive to that. Anyway,
Yep.
let's move to the next one because I have to go to the doctor's appointment in a bit.
Okay, we'll try and get through this quick. Libra. Libra, I believe they rule the hips. I could be wrong.
Yeah, well, yes, the lower back and around that area, buttocks as well.
Okay.
Hips
Um,
is more Sagittarius. Yeah,
okay.
around there. Yeah.
Libra, they can be very passive. They don't like disharmony. If there's turmoil going on, they do everything in their power to be the peacekeeper. They also can be, as children, they love beautiful things. They love Like I have a Libra friend, Natasha. She's probably watching actually. As a child, her room always looked so beautiful, and you know she had beautiful things everywhere, and she always took care of her toys really nicely.
Wouldn't that be a nice child? When do you have to give birth, to get pregnant, to give birth to a Libra baby?
That's so funny.
So maybe you also would advise the parents to make sure there's order around them, that there's beautiful environment, that there's not much shouting and craziness going on around.
Absolutely, especially shouting. Yeah.
Yeah, someone is saying here, oh, hi, April. April is saying Libra kids always feel caught in the middle of their parents are fighting, and it stresses them out so badly. So guys, if you're in a bad marriage, you're better off divorced if you have a Libra child, rather than creating this stress around the kid. Yeah.
Yeah, very important. Yeah. They can be indecisive as well. This is just part of them figuring out their stuff. Libra is the scale, so they're constantly weighing things and stuff. So let them. They're kind of like Taurus in that way, where they take a while to make a decision. They're not slow, but they're just thinking about it a lot, and then coming to their conclusion.
Yeah, because they want to see it from all the different angles. Libra is like, oh, evaluate it, assess it. And Taurus and Libra are both ruled by Venus, the planet of evaluation. So they're trying to evaluate and measure whatever Venus rules. They try to measure, like, is this the right thing? Is that, you know, to make a decision correctly, whether it's worth it or no. Sorry for interrupting you.
No, that's totally fine. They're also artistic. I find Libras, especially if they're females, they can attract jewelry to them, or they might like jewelry, but people will usually give Libra people jewelry. I've actually given my Libra best friend lots of jewelry. My moon's in Libra also, so that could have it, or be the too, but yeah, jewelry, beautiful things, and they need things to be fair. If things are not fair, then they're like, oh my God, I can't handle this.
Wow.
Especially Moon in Libra. I'm a Moon in Libra, and if things were not fair, I was emotional. I was like, well, that's not okay. Why does Michael get to go do this and I can't? You know, if things aren't fair, then they're like, oh.
Would they do the same if it's, say, if you get the bigger portion and you're the Libra kid? Would you say, oh, that's not fair, here's the same amount to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I used to have a daycare, and my daughter still has this really good friend who's a Libra, and he's so passive, and Aaliyah is so bossy. She bosses him around all the time, and he just kind of follows suit. But the one day he actually told her, Aaliyah, you're kind of being a bossy boot. So they really need to themselves learn how to stick up for themselves too, I think.
And I've noticed something with Libra. They can be very polite and civil and tolerate, and then when it becomes too disharmonious, they'll just remove themselves, and you can be a little bit like shocked, especially if you're insensitive type and you're like, what happened? Why? You know, why did they react so sensitively all of a sudden? But because it's been building up there.
Exactly. I'm going to move on to Scorpio now. Scorpio children, they are secretive.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, Scorpio children. Go on.
You're listening, right? Scorpio baby. Scorpio, they are the water sign. They are fixed water as well, so they also do not like sudden changes. They can also be prone to depression and to, like you said, to kind of just sulk in their
Broody.
Yes, that word. Yeah.
He's looking at me suspiciously from the moment he wakes up with one eye, and like, I don't think I've ever seen him smile. And he's only 3 weeks old, but it's it feels intense, you know. Nothing is just game or fun. It's a matter of life and death. It feels there. And there's something so funny, like, it's almost like you have to be, if you make everything too sweet and nice with them, they won't appreciate it. For Scorpio, they recognize the dark side of life. And so funny that he was crying like crazy the other day. Nothing could calm him. And his dad started reading a really scary story to him. He doesn't even understand anything yet. He
Yeah.
calmed down. It was a realistic, scary life experience story. And he was the most peaceful I was so
Oh
in,
my God.
almost like, okay, that's my element. That's true. And he fell asleep. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you.
No,
You
that's
go
totally
ahead.
fine. Yeah, they are drawn to the dark side. Oops, they're drawn to the dark side of humanity for sure.
And they
I'm trying to find my.
recognize if there is any undercurrent in a family, they'll sniff it. Other children might be clueless for years if there is an affair going on, or if there is some energy between the parents or some secret. The Scorpio child will feel uncomfortable. It will know something's happening. And if the parents deny it, he'll stop believing his instincts and he can become unhappy because his instincts are being denied. And usually you have to be very honest, I believe, with Scorpio children because they feel it. Don't make them feel like stupid for what they're feeling because they're so intuitive there.
Yes, exactly. I find a lot of Scorpio influenced people, children, they see through things really easily. They can see to the bitter truth about what's really going on. Um, they have a very intuitive psychic energy to them as well. They can definitely tap into that you know, the other side or whatever you would like to call it. Um, they can be explosive, especially if it's a Scorpio moon. They can be explosive emotionally for sure.
Oh, I'm in for a ride.
But they're very passionate too. For like, they're not a fire sign, but they're super passionate, and they kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Um,
the Mars energy, the Mars passion. You said they're quite physical sometimes, didn't you? Although
yeah,
you said also they're polarities. And I remember I have a friend, Mariana, one of the astrologers. Her child is a Scorpio boy, and he's in love with his mom, and he's obsessed with her. And he goes to her. He's 4 years old, and says to her, "Tell me you love me, and there's no other man in your life." And I'm like, okay, that intensity, And it's amazing. Everyone who has a Scorpio child, they told me they've been writing. They said they're so loyal, they're so loving. They almost like incestual relationship. No, not like that, but
but
intensity of love and devotion and feeling is very intense for them. And I guess one of the things to say for them would be, don't betray their trust. They won't forgive you. And then
exactly.
their whole life they would expect everyone else to betray their trust. So, and when they express feelings, don't belittle their feelings because they
Right.
feel much more intensely. They don't feel like, okay, this distract you here. No, uh, they would feel either ecstatic or either the lowest in hell, and that's what I've been told as well. I don't know many Scorpio children, but I have very good Scorpio friends, and that's what I see from them. And they read the meaning in everything you say. So don't say just casual things if you don't mean them, because they'll try to read into whatever you're saying, very deeply between the lines. Sorry for interrupting.
Sure. These children, this kind of plays into the darker side, them understanding the darker side of humanity. They can sometimes be morbid. Um, it's sorry, but they can. um, also, Scorpio.
Wonderful.
I actually dated a Scorpio sun, and he had a Scorpio moon as well. And when he was born, his mother said there was just tons of blood. Like it was like
Wow.
he was probably in a past life or something, some kind of
War.
warrior, something like that. Yeah, because when he came into this,
Yeah. Scorpio is the door between life and death. So these people, Scorpio children, it's a matter of life and death, and they're survivalists. They said that they have 9 lives. Scorpio sun, ascendant, moon people and children, and they might almost like sometimes experience near death experiences as well, or take really risky things that others wouldn't do, and extreme experiences. But they come back, they survive. They can even at very young age start going through operations and things that other children don't experience, but they survive and they come back. And they're like a witness to the resilience of human will and to the ability to regenerate. And they're very resilient health-wise, I would say. But what is sensitive is the rectum area, their private parts, and also reflecting to the Taurus in their throat as well. Something to be careful about. And yeah, where you eliminate is what Scorpio rules. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. I'm just gonna quickly grab my charger so that my phone doesn't die.
Oh.
All right. So next, I believe, is Sagittarius.
Mm-hmm.
Sagittarius children. They're definitely the rebellious. Sorry, just plugging this in. They're definitely the rebellious, free spirit of the zodiac. Yeah, they're very optimistic. They oh, here we go. They are a fire sign and they are mutable. So again, very passionate, mutable. They're very changing, especially with what it is their beliefs are. They can change that constantly. They love to learn. That's one thing with, and they love to teach as well. They can be very inspiring, like super inspiring to other people. Don't try to ever, like, this is huge advice for anyone with Sagittarius influenced children. Do not try to limit their freedom. Do not try to hold them down, because they need all the freedom they can get. Otherwise, you're going to just have one heck of a time.
How do you cope with chores? Like, because then if you just leave them irresponsible, what do you do with such children? Obviously, they don't listen much. What you want from them, they'll do their own thing.
Yeah, try to make their chores something that they're somewhat at least interested in helping with or doing. If they're not interested at all, they're not gonna even try, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, just try to find something like that, or even like have a an allowance, that kind of thing. That might be something that might
Some goal
Yeah.
for them to strive to, because it's the Archer, isn't it? Sagittarius.
Exactly.
Something to put their into the future to look forward to.
Yes.
Or maybe tell them a trip to Disneyland when you reach 500 points. And something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Sagittarius also rules, I believe it's the thighs, and you said the
The thighs, yeah, the thighs.
okay, yeah. So often they have strong thighs. Like, I've met many Sagittarius with like big thighs, big strong for sure. But it is also a sensitive area for them too. So
yeah, my nephew had his Sagittarius, and he had at the age of 2 a big wound in his thigh.
Oh.
It's crazy how exactly, sometimes it's so literal, you know. But people are saying here they have zany sense of humor, and they're super humorous as children as well, and as adults. So maybe humor is something to, you know, to cope with them, to deal with them, to infuse in their life. I would say travel and adventure as well, and being fire, sports.
Yeah.
Sports, especially sports with some goal. Well, I don't know, all sports have a goal.
Especially too. Yeah.
Maybe even horse riding or archery. That's it's like sometimes it's as literal as this is, you know. It's as simple as the sign itself.
Yep, very true. They can also be very spontaneous. So if they randomly do something and you're like, oh my God, get used to it, because that's going to be like that forever. They're always doing things spontaneous. They see their mark and they go for it. There's nothing stopping them.
Oh, I love that. Why is my karma for Scorpio, double Scorpio? Okay. No, we love
You're going to be a very intuitive person. And I think you being an astrologer is so good for him, because you can understand him really well. And you can also kind of help him through his journey, because he's definitely going to need all the help he can get with his Scorpio influences.
Yeah, you have to sit with them and validate their feelings and show them respect in their feelings. But next kid will be Sagittarius or Libra. So we stronger, so they can be for fun. My second child will be for fun child.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, they can be very wild kids, period. So now Capricorn. Capricorn is Earth and it's cardinal. I've noticed any moon Capricorn, sun Capricorn, they're very mature for their age, and they always seem older than they are.
Yes.
My daughter has Capricorn moon, and everyone thinks she's like 2 or 3 years older than she really is. And it's always been like that. They've always thought she's older. Capricorn children like to listen in on adult conversations sometimes too. They like to be part of, they like to hang out with adults. They feel they're
grown up life. Yeah. And maybe I've also noticed they're given responsibilities from early on age, sometimes even without them wanting to grow up. They had to work harder or take care of siblings or something, or their parents they had to parent their parents sometimes, so they were forced sometimes to grow up earlier than they are. And the luckier Capricorns, they're just serious little men and women. And they actually, the older they get, the more relaxed and easygoing they become. Actually, they grow old gracefully. They really feel most comfortable in their adult life after 36, after 40 onwards. They're the most, and they look younger than their age in later age. While they're younger, they look older. While they're older, they look younger.
Right. Yes, and they can be so bossy too. They have that inner authority in them that, like, even my daughter, she's only 6, and she's like, "Mom, do it this way or do this." I'm like, "Whoa, like, chill for a minute. I'm the parent." Like,
oh yes, this authority.
yeah,
Capricorn.
telling people what to do. Yep.
So what advice would you give for them, for their parents? It seems like they're adults already.
Yeah.
Treat them like an adult, respect them like an adult, maybe.
Yes. I talk to my daughter like an adult all the time, and I think that's huge for her. I think definitely talk to them as if they are adults already, because they're old souls. That's another thing. Very old souls. Yeah.
Maybe also teach them to have some fun.
Yeah, big time. Yeah,
because they're very hard on themselves, and they take on responsibilities, and they feel guilty, and they try to, if your things are not going well for you, don't manipulate them, because they can blame themselves for that. I think Capricorn is big on blaming and feeling guilty about things going wrong, and don't add on that. Try to lighten their burden. They're already carrying like a donkey the world on their shoulders at a young age. Try to tell them, yes, teach them responsibility, but try to tell them that they have to have some fun as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I find a lot of Capricorn influence people can't wait to grow up too. Like my daughter, she's like, "Oh, when am I gonna grow up?" I'm like, "You're 6, chill, just enjoy it."
When am I gonna grow up and pay bills and go to the office? And
you're gonna miss being a kid, trust me. But yeah, they can seem like big, tough, serious people, but a lot of the time they're big teddy bears as well. They're very caring too. They're hardworking. They need physical affection. They need cuddles, especially. Especially if it's a moon Capricorn, but even sun as well. They need their cuddles. They need that.
I think also, yeah, their heart chakra, you have to teach them how to open it, and that's with affectionate. Venus is a friend of Saturn in ancient astrology, and Saturn rules Capricorn, so be affectionate and tactile with them. Any friendly planets help each other, and Venusian things really help Capricorn people, because usually they don't express feelings so well. They can be hard on themselves. This can close their heart chakra. So be tactile, and even as grown-ups, they're sensual people, even if they take them much longer to express it. They're some of the most sensual people. Yeah, so give them some pleasant physical enjoyments, because life, friend of Saturn. Saturn is the planet of hard work, being hard on yourself, paying your karma. They have already difficult karma here to fulfill, you know, to be teachers later on in life as well, and organizers. So now give them this Venusian sugar while they're young, like pleasant, good food and pleasant things, and teach them to relax their heart a little bit. Anyway, sorry.
No, sure. Yeah, I was gonna say that Capricorn, especially Capricorn Moon, they try not to show their feelings. This is something as a parent you can definitely try and work with them on. Ask them, like I had to ask my daughter this the other day. I'm like, how do you feel? So she thought about it, and then she told me, but
what is that nonsense, woman? Grow up. Sorry.
Then again, she is a Pisces, so she feels all kinds.
Oh, okay. And the older she gets, the more she'll feel. With Pisces, grows into it more.
Exactly. So now we'll move to Aquarius. Aquarius, as children, they can be comedians as well. Just like Gemini, they're very funny. The jokester. Friends are very important to Aquarius children and adults. Their social, you know, their group, their friends, it's very, very important. They're very intelligent. They are very odd, sometimes different, unique. They're an air sign, so they are very mental. They love to learn. And they can be attracted to foreigners, foreign places, that sort of thing. Also electronics and movies. I find anyone with strong Aquarius or Pisces, but mostly Aquarius, they love movies. They love electronics, video games. Yeah, my daughter's son is in the 11th house, so she's got very strong Aquarius in her too. And we showed her, I don't know if you know this game or not, but we showed her Minecraft.
Yeah.
And, oh my goodness, she just took off. Like I've never seen a kid, and she's only 6, so she starts building things and just all kinds. I'm like, holy cow.
Wow. I read some parents were saying, because we have discussions going on Facebook that people write, and they're saying, oh, my daughter is Aquarius, sun or moon or whatever, and she says she's a scientist from little, like constantly learning things and building things. Interesting enough, that's exactly what she said as well. And it's networks. Aquarius rules networks. Those people, anything that is a network, the internet is a network, any systems, complicated systems, they're fascinated with systems, with network, with constructor, because it's a network. That's why probably the children love working with construction stuff. You know, I would say the same for Capricorn as well, by the way, because Capricorn likes to build things as well, something material, practical. But Aquarius is maybe more the fascination, how the system interconnects and how everything fits together. Yeah. And they're very strongly influenced by their peers. If anyone gets affected strongly, that's Aquarius, by their friends, and you have to choose their environment well, who they're friends with.
That's very
I would imagine they're pretty reasonable and rational children if they have a strong Aquarius. I don't know many children like that. I don't have good observations, but that's you can reason with them, and you can be friends with them as well. I don't know if that's a good advice for any parent, to be friends with their child, but later on in life, you can definitely become friends with them.
Yes, that's for sure. Also, they can be very blunt. Like when they talk to you about something, or even just, whatever it is, they can be blunt, whether it's about you or somebody else. They're like, meh, that's how it is.
Reasonable objectivity. They don't care about feelings and what others might think.
Very, very detached emotionally, and I think they need that in order to be in there. Also, they're a lot like Sagittarius. They can be the rebels of the zodiac too. I find I used to babysit an Aquarius, and he would not listen to me at all. He wouldn't listen to anybody. But yeah, he was a wildfire, that one for sure. He did his own thing. He's like, no, I'm doing this, and that's it. Can't stop me.
I think a lot of those children, they're here to change the world order, the system with Aquarius energy. They very much resonate well with the Aquarian new age that we're entering into. So they represent those qualities of, uh, progressiveness and forward looking and changing the social order. And so they will be the bringers of the new ideas, I guess. They'll be some of the leaders in society.
Yeah.
Aquarians, Aquarius sun, moon as well. They'll be the ones that lead this age.
Yes, for sure. They shoot. What was I gonna say? I don't remember. They're comfortable being alone. Also, so if your Aquarius child is in its room and he's just hanging out doing his own thing, don't be scared that he's
Oh
gonna
yeah.
be a hermit or something, because he
No,
won't.
they love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's something. Of course, Aquarius is the sign of friendships, but absolutely true. It's a great observation that they're absolutely fine to be independent, alone, doing their own thing, you know. And maybe I would say that they'll probably be very interested in anything to do with aliens, with
Yeah.
sci-fi, with the cosmos, the universe. You can even get them into astrology and weird stuff like that. I was Aquarius ascendant, and from little I was into poltergeist and aliens and ghosts and all those kind of out
Yeah.
there things.
Out of this world. Yeah. Out of this world thinking too. They have amazing thought processes.
Yeah.
Um.
They can be little geniuses as well, ahead of
Oh,
their time, or quirky, as you said, eccentric,
yeah.
uh, say things that shock you. I think they'll be a fun kid to have around. It's uh, I think they're quite hard on themselves though as well. There is something about Aquarius that, according to ancient astrology, it rules is the last sign before Pisces, and Pisces rules liberation of the soul, of the spirit. That's like the awakening that's happening there. But Aquarius is the psychological transmutation that we go through, the psychological removing the psychological complexes. And many Aquarius can start out, especially when younger, with lots of psychological complexes, and they're very kind of they work on those throughout their age to overcome those. Uh, uh, I know it might sound a foreign topic to you guys, but it's something that I've learned from Vedic astrology, and I've seen it in Aquarian people of tropical zodiac absolutely strongly in some way. So they're very psychologically analytical as well, but almost like through the mind, analyzing their feelings through the mind and everything to understand. And they're interested in the condition of the humankind, maybe not in separate individuals as humans, but in the condition of the human. Yeah, but that's for more grown-up Aquarius now, so anyway, let's get back to
Problem. Also, they can be the bad boys of the zodiac or the tomboys if you're a girl. They can be, yeah, they like to do things for shock and awe, I think. Doesn't Uranus or Aquarius and Uranus?
Yeah, it's one of the lords, Aquarius,
Oh, yeah.
Uranus. I still use Saturn because most people still, Saturn rules the physical manifestation of Aquarius, Uranus the mental, psychological manifestation, I would say, because the invisible planets, they're invisible, so they rule more psychological things, not the physical stuff of a sign.
Okay. Yeah.
According to me, at least. And we
Um,
get to Pisces. Oh, sorry, you still have for Aquarius?
that's okay. No, that was it for Aquarius. Yeah, Pisces, water. Very sensitive. They're the last sign of the zodiac, so they really understand others very well. Actually, they're one of the oldest souls. I think Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces are the old souls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Or they're coming to some kind of a closure of incarnations, a set of incarnations and lessons, and it's like the final, either they create their masterpiece in this lifetime, or they're kind of closing a chapter and removing themselves to a different level after that.
yeah, for sure. They can be very quiet. I find a lot of Pisces people, children, have big eyes. I'm a Pisces, so I have big eyes. Also, they they're very compassionate, very quiet. They go with the flow. They don't really like routine too much. They like to just do things on their own, kind of when they get to it.
Oh, that can drive a parent crazy, like a spaced out zone kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
They spend time with the fairies, with their dead grandparents, probably
Yeah,
hours and hours chatting with them.
as a child, I remember, and this, I mean, it might not just be Pisces, but I found I had such a vivid imagination that it seemed so real. Everything I was imagining, it just, you kind of put yourself in a little fantasy world, sort of.
Maybe it was real. Thought has in the higher vibrations, thought is material. You can see it. Maybe you're seeing the thought shapes and forms.
I would not be surprised. Like we lived on a farm when I was younger, and I remember playing in the trees and seeing things. And when I look back, I'm like, I remember parts of it pretty well. I'm like, that's so crazy. Like,
I think you were seeing things. I have a friend with Neptune conjunct the ascendant, which is exactly the same as having Pisces sun or moon, or not exactly the same, but very powerful. Until she was 6, she was seeing, every day she would see little fairies dance in the fields. And this is
oh,
how she would fall asleep. And she said they were real for me. I'm sure that what you were seeing was openings to the invisible world.
oh, for sure, yeah. Um, yeah, Pisces also, they're a lot like Cancer, where they take on other people's energy. Um, Pisces are very sensitive, especially in crowds and stuff. I know this personally. Um, and even my daughter, she hates going shopping. Like she hates it. She doesn't like it. Like, no, I just want to stay home and
Because you
not
soak
deal
up
with.
all the, you need to spend after that time on your own to shake off all the impressions and feelings. Because,
Right.
and often you'd see a Pisces child, sun or moon or whatever, that gets a mood or funk out of nowhere, and it's not even his own mood. He's picked up, maybe there's someone who was cranky next to him or passed by, and they picked up that feeling.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely pick up everybody's feelings. So it's important for Pisces or parents of Pisces to not reflect how you're feeling. Like, be very careful. If you're mad or something like that, try to, like, if you're fighting with your partner or something, try to do it privately, when the child is not there or sleeping or something, because they feel that for sure and they take it on. And yeah, Pisces have a hard time figuring out what emotions are theirs. And
Exactly. So you have to teach them even from little to tell them that they shouldn't so strongly identify possibly with feelings because possibly they're not even theirs.
right,
Uh, but and they feel guilty. That's another thing. Capricorn and especially Pisces, they have this sense of guilt, like they're not responsible, like they, if someone is feeling bad, they might feel it's their fault, or like it's their responsibility to nurse them back to feeling good. So
yeah,
again, it's very important. And I've seen moon Pisces people, usually one of the parents, there was some addiction there, or there was highly volatile emotional energy sometimes, uh, sometimes even mental illness I've seen. And that's in more extreme cases, but that's one of the most sensitive, emotional, also most poetic people you can see. And I keep repeating Michael Jackson, Prince, Joni Mitchell, and what's his name? The other guy, another very famous uh, singer. Some of the best musicians, they have Moon in Pisces because they feel the collective feelings of others and what others needs, and they know exactly how to play on those feelings, or how to touch the souls of others. So I would say Pisces are healers. For me, they're healers of humanity. No matter
yeah,
what their career is, they're there to heal. They're there to bring unconditional love, to show love and forgiveness to others. But it's very tough for them when they're children. I think it's probably one of those positions. They can be extremely sweet and loving, but you have to protect them if you're their parent. You have to almost be like a mama bear there to teach them how to take care of themselves because they're so sensitive. And giving back the word to you, sorry.
No, that's perfectly okay. So Pisces is the opposite of Virgo. So Virgo observes through body language, and Pisces observes through feelings, like the energy in the air and how the other person's feeling. We can really tap into, especially as children too. They can really tap into, like I said, how others are feeling, and really have an inner knowing, like, oh, well, that person is struggling with this or that, that kind of thing. They can be very intuitive and just know things.
And you shouldn't deny also their feeling, their intuitions. You should make them understand that they're not crazy, because especially modern world denies feelings and the inner world, and this can make them feel dead inside if you start denying their feelings. But also to teach them to protect themselves psychically and not take on too much, and not always identify with the feeling. You recognize them, say they're there, they're real, those feelings, your inner imagination, your reality, what you're feeling, your intuitions, they're real, but don't allow it to take too much to make you too vulnerable. Don't identify too much with it. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. Also, Pisces. Shoot. Oh yes, Pisces are the most likely to zone out, like I kind of just did there, sort of. My daughter, she's always like, she'll be talking to me, and then she'll just kind of look off.
She's gone with the fairies. And someone is saying, I had doctors all over me as a child. Oh, Pisces, yeah, they might think, normal people might think there's something wrong with them. There is not. They're just in their own world, and we can put them in mental hospitals sometimes with our misunderstood of what is right and wrong and what is normal. But those people are probably closest to the reality than any of us, because they're closest to the 99% invisible, which is the true reality, than this 1% visible.
Also, I keep forgetting what I'm going to say. Pisces, they, like you were saying, they can see things, they can hear things a lot of the time. Yeah, very in touch with, like, they have one foot in the veil of the other side and one foot in Earth, or on Earth, I guess, the Earth plane. So it's, yeah, they can very easily go to another world. And if you notice this, just let them do it, because don't try to control that, because that is one of their powers, actually.
Exactly, to connect us to the invisible world, to bring inspirations from there. So don't close that veil for them, because you cut their source of life. You cut their umbilical cord to the source above, which is what their bridges between.
Also, like the other water signs, Pisces is very, very prone to depression. So really watch this with your children. If you see your Pisces child just really getting down or depressed about something, and they will, even as a young child, they feel depressed at times. Like, and you can see it in them. You can see it in their eyes. The eyes give Pisces away. A lot of the time, I think, even though we don't rule the eyes, we rule the feet. Also, sensitive area. If you want to make your Pisces feel better, rub their feet, nicely and stuff like that. That'll definitely be very.
Oh, foot massage. Wonderful. Wow,
Yeah.
thank you. Wow. So I thank you so much for bringing this to us. It was people are loving it. People are loving this discussion. They're saying such an interesting topic. They're thanking you, Richelle, for doing this. And thank you for being here. And I just want to say, guys, check out Richelle's services. Actually, we spoke very rudimentary, basic things now, but Richelle is really good astrologer. She uses amazingly progressions and transits on a deep psychological level. She has written horoscopes. She has extremely affordable prices. And till Mother's Day, she's doing 30 minutes for $40, and also a child horoscope for you and your child, and an answer to one question free for only $80. So check out those resources. Check out Richelle's services, and we'll have her more often here. Maybe next time we'll talk about the family karma, because we didn't have time, because I have to go to the doctor. but yeah, we should go into more deeper astrology next time, so you know, people can learn new methods, because I really like some of the methods you are using when you send me your example horoscopes, and I found them like great. So maybe we should do a video on progressions. Richelle is really good at progressions.
Sounds good. Also, I just wanted to mention before we sign off here,